Hey friends, so you can probably tell from the title of this video that I wrote and published a children's book. Here it is. It's called A Day on the Farm, an adventure with Pa and Ma. So Pa and Ma are my grandparents, and they lived on a horse farm. My grandfather raised Belgian horses. He bred them, showed them. So there was like mommy horses, baby horses. He had some chickens for a while, dogs, cats. So it was just a really fun place to be as a child. And my cousin's brother and I had so many wonderful memories there. And I just thought it would be a lot of fun to memorialize all of those memories in a book. So that's what I did. And now it wasn't super easy. It didn't happen like that. It's been a long process. I first wrote the book back in May. I think it was about May, maybe closer to June. I can't exactly remember, but I was driving home from my dad's house one night. So these grandparents are my mom's parents, but I just happened to be driving home from my dad's the one night. I was over there hanging out with my brothers and my dad, just spending time with them, and I had an idea to write a children's book. And when I was younger, I remember being younger, like maybe 10 or 11, I had the idea to write a children's book about a day on my grandparents' farm. And I think I might have typed it up like on my old desktop computer or something, but I don't even know what happened to that. It went nowhere. It was like a one-day idea and then it disappeared. But that kind of, as I was driving home that night, it reminded me of that idea and wanting to do that, and I was like, oh, I gotta do this. So it was probably close to 10 o'clock by the time I got home, but as soon as I got home, I opened the notes app on my phone and typed the whole, basically the whole story, well, the first draft of the story. I didn't sleep that night. I don't think I went to bed till like 4 in the morning. I was so excited about this book, and I had daycare, I had to work the next day, but whatever. I barely got any sleep. So what I started off doing, I basically wrote a poem, I guess you would say, because I wanted it to rhyme. And then I was like, oh, I should make it an alphabet book. So each page would go through the alphabet and have a word that goes along with the farm or something we experienced with a letter of the alphabet. So I did that at first. I mapped the whole poem going through the alphabet. But then I decided it was kind of too much to have the rhymes and the letters. But going through the alphabet really helped me come up with ideas of what to put in the book. So it kind of was my framework, and then I took that idea out but still used all of the ideas I came up with. So that night I had the idea set. It was in my notes app, ready to go. And I'm pretty sure I called my mom the next morning and read the whole thing to her, and I sent it to one of my cousins, and they both thought it was really good. So I played around with it for the next couple weeks. It wasn't right yet. I still needed to fix some wordings, add some things. Some things didn't quite flow how I wanted them to. So I read through it, my mom read through it, and then I had my friend Megan read through it. I just needed a couple different inputs, and she's really good at writing things. She used to help me. Fun fact, in 7th grade, we were in English class together, and all we did in that class, I think the teacher was really lazy, sorry. But I think all we did in that class was read books. We had double periods, each 45 minutes. We would read a book and have to do 3 or 4 book reports every 9 weeks, and that's all we did. Maybe one day a week we would open the grammar book and actually do something, but we seriously just sat there for an hour and a half and read books and wrote book reports. And I remember I picked the book Holes, and I could not figure out how to write the book report for Holes because there's all the flashbacks and all that stuff, and I couldn't figure it out. So Megan basically wrote that book report for me. So thanks, Megan. So I knew I could count on her to read my little poem / book I had written, and she did. Got some advice, and then my mom got me in contact with an editor. So my mom actually published a book. It's called Stiletto Standards. I'll put it right here. It's more of a professional development book for women in the workplace, but it's really good. So go check it out if you want to. So she got me in contact with a lady who could help me edit the book. This lady has published children's books before. So I had this Zoom call with Elizabeth, and she gave me lots of advice about how to publish, my options for publishing, hiring illustrators, and just on writing the story in general. So things like each line should have the same amount of syllables. Use active voice instead of passive voice. A children's book is typically printed in groups of 8. So your children's books are going to be 8 pages, 16 pages, 24 pages, so on and so forth. So just different things like that. She gave me all that advice. It was super helpful, and I so appreciate her. So I took all of her advice in, and then I revamped the story again. So it's been rewritten a couple times, but the same basic idea. So then after a couple weeks, I sent her my copy of the story. She hadn't read it yet. And within a couple weeks, I forget how long it took her, like maybe a week or so, she got it back to me with all of her edits. And then it was ready to, the next step was to find an illustrator. So that step was a little bit tricky. There were different options. There are websites you can go to hire illustrators. I had contacts with a couple people that are like, well, she might know somebody, so you could ask her. And so I just wasn't sure what to do, and I needed somebody that was going to work with me because I had a very specific vision for this book. I wanted it to look just like my grandma's farm, so that when me, my grandma, my cousins, aunts, and uncles, we all looked at it, we'd be like, oh yeah, I remember that, because they don't live there anymore. My grandfather actually passed away in 2015, and he had had a stroke a few years before that, so my grandma had sold the farm because she couldn't take care of that place all by herself. So they sold the farm several years ago, but I wanted us to be able to look back into this book and be like, oh yeah, I remember that and that and that. So I needed someone who was going to work with me. And when you, I don't know if you know this, but when you publish a book through a publisher, typically the illustrator and the author don't even meet. So I knew I didn't want to go that route. And the vision I had for the book, I just wanted it to be very simple illustrations, nothing super detailed, just, I don't know, just really simple. Like the book, what's that author? Robert Munsch. It's like M-U-N-S-C-H or something. I'm gonna put the book here, but my biggest inspiration was the book Purple, what's it called? Sorry, I have like some notes down here. Purple, Green, Yellow. It's this book I had when I was little. I used to read it, and I just wanted the illustrations to be like that, like dots for eyes, just a little line for a mouth. Just very, very simple. So then my friend Megan, back to my friend Megan, she's like my lifesaver. She worked with a girl named Jenna, and she said Jenna's really good at drawing and all that kind of stuff, and she might be interested in doing something like this to kind of expand her portfolio and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got in contact with Jenna. Jenna sent me some samples that she had done before, and I loved her work. I emailed her everything that I wanted, how many pages, all of the information, how many pages the book would be, all the information, and she agreed, I agreed. We set up a contract and got started. And in the meantime of finding my illustrator and all of that stuff and the editing of the actual words, I had been sketching. So I have this big sketchbook here, and I am not a drawer. Like when I say sketch, I mean I was literally, I can sketch cartoony faces kind of, but like I was drawing stick figures and all that stuff. So I was sketching things in this book. So here is the first thing I sketched. I'm gonna see if the lighting, if I move it down, so you can see it's a little bit darker. So I sketched all of the cousins' clothes all through here, but then it changed. This was the original sketch, and then I changed it and decided to put us all in the same bib overall. Some of us had shorts on, some of us had long ones, but essentially those were the sketches, the first sketches of the clothes for the cousins. I didn't really sketch much for Ma and Pop here. I just knew I wanted, it says red with flowers because Ma loves flowers and red, and then I knew just jeans on the bottom. And then I didn't sketch anything for Pa because I had a picture that I sent Jenna for that I knew what I wanted him to wear. And then on the back of this, I sketched what I wanted our like hair and stuff to look like. And so there's me, like just kind of shorter hair, my cousin, my brother. And ended up switching. I gave Drew the hat instead of Braxton because I gave Braxton, my youngest cousin, blonde hair. He had blonde hair when he was little. He has darker hair now, but like me and my one cousin down here, Bethany, and my brother Drew had brown hair, so I thought I should give Drew the hat to kind of break up the brown hairedness. And then this girl is supposed to have blonde hair. This is my cousin Brittany, and Braxton had blonde hair. And then my cousin Meredith, she didn't have red hair as a child, but she does now, so I just went with the red head because I figured it diversifies the colors. And each cousin was assigned a color for their clothes. So I was purple, red, orange, what color is Meredith? Like a light blue, pink, and yellow. So that's what I did for that. So that was the first thing I sent Jenna, was the sketch of the cousins' faces and clothes. The way we worked through all of this basically was, I sent her the sketches of everything. So I sketched out the entire book. I figured out the book layout. I ended up printing the poem, put it down here, and like sketched out pages of the book where I wanted each line of the poem to be. It was a whole process to figure out how to fit it into a book that was like a set of 8. So I ended up starting off, there's 24 pages of the book that are readable, and then we added 8 more pages. I forget how we did it, but there's like 32 pages in this book. And so basically what I did, once I figured out which words go on each page, I sketched every single page. Like there's the first spread of like the whole farm. I knew I wanted the first page to show the entire farm. I'm sorry if you can't see this very well. Then like the next page, all of that stuff. So basically sketched out the entire thing. And I sent them all to Jenna. So in addition to sending Jenna sketches I drew, I also sent her pictures of the farm. Now some of these pictures were ones I had. Like I had pictures of all of us cousins around the age we were in the story. I just wanted to give her that so she could kind of get an idea of what we looked like and to go along with the sketch, because I know my sketches were not that great. I also sent her a couple pictures of Ma and Pa so she could get an idea of them, because I didn't really sketch them. So those drawings of Ma and Pa were totally Jenna. I didn't sketch anything or give her really any idea besides the pictures and what I wanted them to wear. And she did a great job. And I also sent her pictures of the farm. Now some of the pictures I had, but other pictures I had to be a little bit sneaky. I had to go over to Ma's and get pictures without her really knowing what I was doing. And I got lucky because her plan for a Christmas present for us cousins, which I knew before Christmas because I basically always know what we're all getting for Christmas before Christmas because I help her with Christmas stuff. But when we were little, she had an album for each of us 6 cousins, and they lived in a drawer at the old farmhouse. And I remember going there when I was little and pulling out the albums and just looking through them. We each had one, and her plan was to give us all of the albums for Christmas as a Christmas present. She needed more pictures to fill up some of the albums, so I went over and helped her look through a ton of pictures that she had. And she was also looking for specific pictures. I think, I'm not sure what exactly she was looking for, but some of the pictures in there were like from when she was little and stuff. So there was a ton of stuff to look through, and it was a lot of fun. And it worked out because I was able to find pictures that I needed of the horses, just different angles of the house, of the barn, farm, of the golf cart we drove around on. So while I was there, I was like taking pictures with my phone of the pictures. I'm pretty sure she noticed. I'm not that great at being sneaky. And I have talked to her, you know, about it since she's gotten the book, but she was like, yeah, I noticed you're taking pictures, but I didn't really care. So I had pictures I needed. And then what else did I have to do? There were a couple sneaky things I needed to do. Oh, I needed a couple names for the foals, for the baby horses in the book. I have a page with 3 baby horses on it. I had 2 names I knew were names of horses and I was gonna use. I used Duchess because it works with the rhyming. And then I also used Valentine because Valentine was a horse who bit my brother, Drew, when we were kids. So I was like, I gotta throw Valentine in there for Drew. And then I needed one more name. I was like, hey Ma, do you have a list of like baby names? Because I knew she kept them. I knew she had a list somewhere of all the foals that had been born on the farm. So I went over one day and she had printed out a page for me, and I just like took a picture of it. And we've talked about it since she got the book, and she's like, I wondered, like I knew you were taking pictures of pictures and I didn't really think anything of it. And then she's like, but I printed that list of baby horses names, but then you never even took it. You just left it here. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really need it. I took a picture of it. So that was funny. And then one time I had to call her because I wasn't sure. So my grandfather had a show horse. Her name was Bess. And I wanted a nice drawing of her in the story. And I was like, I don't exactly remember which horse she was. I had this picture of 3 different horses, and I knew one of them was Bess. I knew one of them was Bess, and I was pretty sure it was the one with the small white spot on her nose. So Belgian horses have like white spots on their noses. Some of them are long strips, some of them could be little dots, just they're all different. And I asked my mom, she's like, I'm not 100% sure which one, just call Mom and ask her. I'm like, how am I gonna like fit this into a conversation? Like, why would I randomly ask her what Bess's white spot on her face looked like? So I called her and just like a normal, like, hey, what are you doing? We were just talking about stuff. And then she knew I took some pictures with me that we had looked through just to keep for myself. And I was like, hey Mom, I was looking at these pictures and I'm not sure which one Bess is. Can you tell me? There's a horse like with a little dot, there's one with a longer stripe. Which one's Bess? I just want to make sure I know who Bess is when I look back at these pictures. And she's just like, told me which one. It was the one with the smaller, like kind of diamond shaped white mark. And I was like, okay, thanks, whatever. And I don't think she thought much of it. I think I asked her afterwards and I don't think she really remembers or thought much of it, but I thought that was funny. So yeah, that's what I did. I sent Jenna a bunch of pictures so she could have references. I wanted to really do that because I wanted to really capture the farm. I wanted all of us to be able to look into that book, like my cousins, brother, grandma, my mom, my aunt, and my uncles to be able to look in the book and like memories come back to them. So I tried to get as close to everything as I could. And we communicated basically through email and texting for the next several months. So let's see, I got in contact with her mid-August. We signed the contract the end of August, and the sketches, I got my first sketch back on September 2nd. So I'll put that right here so you can see. It was a sketch of, there's a spread where all 6 of us cousins are just lined up on the page. I figured that would be the best first one to do so I could make sure that I liked how she drew the cousins, liked our hair, our clothes, and all of that stuff. So that was the first sketch she did, and that's how we did it back and forth for the next couple months. She would sketch, email it to me. Now we had in the contract I could make, I think, 2 changes per spread, and she would send me 2 spreads a week. And we had a deadline, guys. We had a big deadline, which I'll talk about that in a second. But basically, she would email me the sketch. Sometimes I'd be like, yep, perfect. Sometimes I'd be like, well, could you maybe tweak this a little bit in this? And she'd fix it and get it right back to me. And then basically she sketched out everything first, and then she started colorizing. The only colorized page I got first was the one of the 6 cousins, because she wanted to make sure I liked the way she colored things before she started doing all that. But that's basically how it went. I would approve the sketches, and then she'd go back and color, and I'd approve the coloring. We did tweak some things here and there, but overall, I feel like I didn't need to make a lot of changes. Then the next step, once the pages were all done, we had to figure out what we were gonna do for the cover, the back, if we wanted like the cover and the back to be a whole spread, which is what we ended up doing. And then, you know, the copyright page, and once we didn't realize that, so we had 24, pretty sure, yeah, it was like 24 pages with pictures and words. But then you have to add the copyright page. I wanted a dedication page. So remember, children's books are typically printed in groups of 8. So we had to come up with like 8 different pages. So basically what we did, we added like some blank pages with like just a little sketch of a cat. We have the title page here, copyright page, dedication page. So we ended up coming up with a 32 page book essentially. Like some of them are blank pages, but it's a multiple of 8, so that's good. So as far as the title page, I kind of told her, I was like, I want Mom and Pa to be on it. I want all the kids on it. I want it, because I needed it to pop. I needed, if a kid saw this on a shelf, they'd be like, wow, look at those animals. Like, I want to have that book, right? Which this book isn't on shelves, it's just on Amazon. But, you know, I needed us all to be on there. So I kind of just sketched out something quickly. I don't even know if it's in here. Oh man, I don't even know. I have every page sketched out. Like literally, there's a page where we're in the barn shoveling horse poo, and I just like drew stick figures, and she brought it to life. It's just so fun. I did sketch the cover in here. So here's what I did. I basically was like, what did I use for inspiration? I used one of the Llama Llama books for inspiration as a layout. So I'll put the Llama Llama book I used as an inspiration, but I knew I wanted like Mom, Pa in the front, and then us cousins in the next part back, and then the part back after that, maybe the barn and some animals. So that's kind of what I drew here. So like Pa and Ma, the dog, Sassy, us kids, barn, all that stuff. And she basically, I mean, look how good, look how awesome she is. So I said earlier that she had a specific deadline. So we agreed on this beforehand, and this is something she's never done before, I've never done before. So I was like, I really want this book to be done for Christmas. And we looked at the time, I forget how many weeks she had, but basically if she sent me 2 spreads a week, it could be done. Now looking back, it was not enough time. Like we got it done, but she worked so hard, and I thank you again, Jenna, for working so hard to get this done for me. If I were to do a book in the future, she would get way more time. But I really wanted it done for Christmas for several reasons. Like I thought it would be the perfect Christmas gift for my grandma. And this Christmas, my one cousin who knew about the book, her name's Meredith, she and her husband were actually going to be coming to town for Christmas this year, which she hasn't been here for Christmas in like 15 years. And so all of my family from that side was going to be at Christmas. I was like, and I wanted to share it with everybody all at once, because it's not just, the book's just not for me, it's not just for my grandma, it's for my 4 cousins, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, because that's where they grew up too. Like my aunts and uncles, my aunt, why do I say like I have a bazillion of them? My aunt and my uncle and my mom like all grew up on that farm too. So it's also reminiscent for them. So I was so excited that everybody was gonna be in town. I was like, I can just share it all at once, and everybody can just know, we can know together. And So that's why we needed it done for Christmas. So basically what happened was we got it done and it was in Amazon and we could order proofs. And I ordered the proof, but I wasn't sure if it would be here in time to make it for Christmas. So what Jenna did, she helped me out and she knew of a place where you can print books that is near me because she used to live near me, but now she doesn't. So we sent the book to a print shop and I felt bad. Jenna worked like all morning getting the sizing just right for this print shop. Jenna's the MVP. She didn't just like illustrate the book, she did all the layouts, she uploaded it on Amazon for me. She did everything. Like, she is awesome. So I love you, Jenna, thank you. And so I went and picked it up from the print shop just so I had a copy just in case the proof didn't come in for my grandma. It was basically the same thing. The paper was a little bit different, but it was the book, essentially. But the proof ended up coming, so I wanted to give my grandma the proof because the proof, it said like, it has like a gray line across, I forget what it says, but you knew it was a proof. And I wanted her to know it wasn't quite done yet because I wanted her to look through the book. There was a couple grammatical things within the description on the back and in the dedication that I wasn't quite sure of, and I wanted to talk through things with her. And if there was anything big in the book, like we can't make any big changes at this point, but if there was anything that was really important that she needed to add or take away, I wanted her to be able to look at it first. So I was really glad that I was able to give her the proof copy, and then that was on the front, so when she opened it, she knew this is just a proof. So it came to be Christmas Day. I was able to keep the secret from my grandma for almost 7 months, I guess, 6 or 7 months. My mom knew, my brother knew, and my cousin Meredith knew. So my cousin Meredith had the phone ready and recorded my grandma opening it. So I'm gonna insert a clip here.
Oh my goodness, the day on the form. Written by Abby. Oh my goodness. You brought a book? You brought a kid's book. Oh. Whoa. I'm gonna cry.
Didn't think we would make volume access.
Wow. Oh no. Oh, the form. 6 weary cousins. Oh my goodness.
Abby won.
Can you read it?
That's great, Abby.
Wow.
Can you read it?
Can I read it? No, not right now. I can't.
Abby,
Oh, thank you, Abby. That's great. Look at the horses.
Look at the back.
Milkshakes, golf cart, and sassy. Which cat is that?
Well, just one of them.
That's a black and white cat.
Friendly.
I'll read that one by myself.
Okay.
I think that was supposed to be last.
I just threw it and let it be what it was.
So watching that, it's just like, I don't know, really exciting. I watched it back several times to see how excited she was, and my aunt was super excited, and my cousins, I don't know if you could hear them in the background, but I was so nervous the whole time she was opening her presents. Like, it took her forever to get through all the presents, and I think at one point my mom just like grabbed the book because I just wrapped it and threw it in with all of her other presents. I was like, I don't want to make a big deal about it. I don't want this big production. She's just gonna open it as a present. And my mom at one point like grabbed the present from the bottom of the pile and was like, here, open this next, because I was just like, I don't know. And I don't know why I was nervous. I just was. And she opened it, loved it, everybody loved it, and I don't know, it just made me feel really good because it was a present for all of them, really. And I don't know, we just all had a great time. So the next step, that was still the proof. There were a couple minor changes I wanted to make within the book, but I decided to give Jenna especially and myself a break. I just needed to stop thinking about that book for a couple weeks. So we waited until after the new year to officially publish it on Amazon, made a couple tweaks, and then it officially published on Amazon on January 6th, which is pretty cool because that, I didn't think I was gonna cry. But January 6th is actually, it was my grandfather's birthday, so it's really cool. If you look on Amazon, the publication date's January 6th. Now, I don't know what this means, but in the book it says January 8th on this one, so I don't know if it's because this was printed on January 8th, but the publication date on Amazon is January 6th, and that was Pa's birthday, so really cool. And then I shared it on my Facebook and private Instagram with all of my friends and family, and I didn't realize this when I shared it. My cousin texted me, and then later I saw my grandma and she told me that I announced to family and friends on January 12th, and that was actually Ma and Pa's anniversary. So like, how cool is that? Like, I don't know, I just prayed to God so much throughout this whole process. He brought all the right people into my life to make this book possible, and just look at what happened with the publication and the announcement. Like, I did not plan either of those. It's just amazing. It still like gives me chills to think about it. So the book is officially up on Amazon, and as of today, we've almost sold 100 copies of the book, and I'm so excited. I still cannot believe all of the positive remarks I got on Facebook, Instagram. People are just really, really like building me up, and I don't know, it just feels awesome. I knew people would be supportive and happy for me, but just the amount of love and support I've gotten over this book is just truly amazing, and I'm so thankful to every single one of you. If you're watching this and you've already ordered a book, thank you, thank you, thank you. Huge thank you to my grandparents, first of all, for giving us the best childhood ever. We had so much fun on this farm. Let me just talk about some of the things. I'll read you the description on the back. It gives a little bit of insight to what we do in the book. So it says, on Pa and Ma's farm, there's so much to do. Milkshakes, a golf cart, and animals too. 6 cousins play together and explore. An adventure awaits. Join us for more. So we did so much on the farm. They had an old golf cart we would drive around, and then when it died, they got us this thing called a hauler that we would drive around. My grandpa used to make us milkshakes. There were horses, dogs, chickens, cats, just so much stuff, and so many, just such fun memories. So thank you, Pa and Ma, for the awesome childhood. I want to thank my mom because she has been my biggest supporter throughout all of this, and there were times when I was like, why am I doing this? This is stupid. Should I even do this? She's like, yes, you should do it. Just keep going. So I did. And then obviously the biggest thank you to Jenna, because I feel like I worked her to death, and she's just amazing. Like, she did an awesome job. She did exactly what I wanted with this book. She brought my vision to life. So thank you to Jenna. You are amazing. Thanks to Megan for, you know, reading through the book for me, always having my back when I'm writing something, and for introducing me to Jenna. Like, how cool is that? And then obviously I want to thank my cousins, Brittany, Bethany, Braxton, Meredith, my brother Drew, for being my partners in crime on the farm. We had a blast. And who else? All my friends and family who have liked, shared, commented, and bought books for me. You guys are awesome, and I don't know, yeah, I'm a published author. So if you want to buy my book, no pressure at all. The link is in the description down below. And yeah, it's a fun, if you have kids, grandkids, I don't know, but I think it's a fun book for everyone. I tried to make it, I know I put a lot of personal things in it, but I tried to make it also pretty general so that anybody could enjoy it. So yeah, I talked way longer than I thought I was going to, but I kind of want to just have this video out here to talk about the process of me writing this book. So thank you guys so much for watching this. If you did enjoy, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already, and come find me on Instagram. I post videos on here every Wednesday and Saturday, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.